You're sitting there crying over him. Meanwhile, he's checking if you've blocked him, panicking, not because he lost you, but because he lost control. Let that sink in before you scroll past like it didn't punch your chest. He doesn't miss your soul. He misses your attention. He misses the way your pain fed his ego. He misses the way you cried, screamed, begged, because to him, those were signs that he still owned you. And while you sit there calling it heartbreak, he calls it confirmation that he can still play with you when he's bored. So before we go any further, do this for you, not for me, not for the algorithm. Smash the like button like you're slamming the door on his access. Hit subscribe like you're locking it behind you. Because this isn't just a video, this is your line in the sand. Welcome back to the channel, my love. And no, you're not here by accident. You didn't stumble in here looking for entertainment. Your soul brought you here because it's tired of being stepped on while you call it loyalty. Tired of shrinking to fit into a man's world who only opens the door when he wants to play God. You're tired, not because you're weak, but because you've been fighting for someone who's been fighting against you the whole time. You think you're in love. But what if I told you this wasn't love? It's emotional slavery dressed up in a Disney dress. You think he's confused. No, baby. He's just comfortable. Comfortable knowing you'll be there. Comfortable knowing you'll always answer. Comfortable knowing that you'll cry, but never cut him off. I worked with a woman once. Let's call her Maya. 5 years. 5 years she gave to a man who treated her like a placeholder while he looked for someone better. She bought him a car, helped him clear his debt, took care of his mother while he was out cheating. You know what he told her the day she finally said she was leaving? Go ahead, you'll be back. You always come back. That wasn't love. That was confidence built on her pattern of overgiving and underchoosing herself. And you know what happened when she didn't come back, when she went silent? He spiraled, showed up at her job, blew up her phone, called her mom. Not because he loved her, but because she finally stopped giving him the fuel he thought he'd have forever. You think your silence is weakness? No, love. Your silence is the only thing he can't twist. Your silence is where his power ends. It's where your healing begins. Let me ask you this, and I need you to be honest with yourself even if it burns. What has your love done for you? What has waiting gotten you? What has being the forgiving one, the loyal one, the understanding one really given you? You are out here handing over your body, your soul, your energy, and he's handing you crumbs and confusion. You're writing poetry in your head for a man who wouldn't even spell your name right in a text. Society told you to wait, to hope, to stick it out. Good women don't give up. Lies. You were taught to be soft in a world that uses softness as a weapon. You were taught to forgive men who never learned to respect you. You were taught to water dead things and call it faith. But that ends today. Because silence isn't quitting, it's reclaiming. You don't owe him closure. You don't owe him one last conversation. You owe yourself peace. Say this out loud, now, not later. I choose silence. And then type it in the comments. Let him feel it. Let the universe feel the shift. But more importantly, let you finally believe it. Because in the next section, we're diving deep into the part that stings the most. The fact that he's not confused. He's calculated. He knows exactly what he's doing. And your silence. It's the first move in ending a game you were never supposed to play. Don't flinch. Don't soften. Stay silent. Number 1, he's not confused, he's calculated. So, my dear, let's stop playing this game where you pretend he's just lost. Let's cut the innocent act. He's not lost. He knows exactly where he is and exactly how to keep you lost. You say he's confused? No, he's calculating. You say he's emotionally unavailable? No, he's emotionally strategic. There's a big difference between a man who's struggling to express love and a man who's using love as a tool to control you. You keep trying to figure him out like he's some deep emotional puzzle, but baby, he's not a mystery, he's a mirror, and everything he does to you reflects everything you refuse to face. You don't want to admit he's doing it on purpose. You don't want to believe someone can be that cold, that calculated, that intentional. But I need you to hear this. A man who can lie without flinching is not broken. He's practiced. He knows when to pull back so you'll panic. He knows when to send that "I miss you" text just as you start to move on. He knows when to cry and say, "I've changed." He's not improvising, he's fishing, and you're the baited catch. You know what he does? He throws out just enough affection to keep your hope alive. Just enough vulnerability to make you think he's opening up. Just enough sadness to make you feel sorry for him. And just when you begin to drown in self-doubt, boom, he reels you back in. He's not trying to love you, he's trying to own you. You ever seen a fisherman cast a line? That's him. You're swimming, finally free, and then, there it is, the bait. A late night, "I've been thinking about you," a random photo from your memories, a follow on your IG, and just like that, you bite. And he smiles because he's done it again. There was a post on Reddit I read. This girl said her boyfriend ghosted her for 3 whole weeks. No contact, no explanation. She thought something happened to him. She cried every night. Then one day, out of nowhere, he texted, "Sorry, I just needed space. I've been going through a lot." She forgave him. Later, she found out he was on vacation in Bali with another woman the whole time. He didn't need space. He needed time to cheat without interruption. And I know, this hurts. Because believing this means accepting that you were never in love with a good man going through a hard time. You were in love with a selfish man going through your kindness like it was a buffet. He took what he wanted, when he wanted, and left you with the bill. But here's the part that really hurts. You let him. Yeah. Sit with that. Because you didn't just get played. You played yourself too. Every time you excused his silence, every time you blamed yourself for his behavior, every time you said, "He's just not ready," instead of saying, "He's just not right for me." And I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to wake you up. Because society handed you this script since you were a little girl. It told you men just need time. It told you to be patient, to be soft, to be understanding. It told you that if you just loved hard enough, he'd come around. It trained you to see pain as passion, abuse as intensity, neglect as mystery. No one told you that love is not supposed to feel like survival. No one told you that a good man doesn't leave you confused. No one told you that being chosen by a broken man isn't an accomplishment, it's a trap. You've been fed lies in fairy tale wrappers. He'll come back. He just needs to grow. If you don't hold him down now, you'll lose him to someone else. Bullshit. You know what really happens when you wait around for a man to change? You change. You lose your fire. You lose your joy. You lose yourself. And I know this burns. Because you're thinking of all the years you gave, all the energy, all the chances, all the what-ifs. You're thinking of the holidays you spent alone, the lies you swallowed, the nights you stared at your phone waiting for him to care. And you're wondering, what if I just gave it one more shot? Let me stop you right there. He's not confused. You are. He's playing a game, and the longer you stay, the longer you help him win. You keep trying to rescue him, explain him, save him, when what you really need to do is save yourself. You don't rise from this pain by pretending it didn't happen. You rise by facing it, sitting in it, letting it break you open, not break you down. You rise by unlearning every lie they fed you about love. You rise by refusing to carry guilt that isn't yours. You rise by finally saying, No more. Say that with me right now. No more. Type it in the comments like you mean it. Let him feel it. Let society feel it. Let you feel it. Because the minute you say no more, the game ends. The moment you stop chasing, begging, crying, the power shifts. And don't worry, we're just getting started. Because in the next section, we're going to pull the mask off even deeper. You think he doesn't care about you? He does, but not in the way you think. He cares because your pain feeds him. Your emotions make him feel alive. We're about to expose how your suffering is his comfort zone. Stay right here. Don't blink. Don't go back. Keep rising. Number 2. Your pain is his proof that he still has power. So, my dear, let's talk about the part that hurts the most. Not because of what he's doing, but because of what you keep doing. You cry, you beg, you send paragraph after paragraph trying to make him understand what he's done to you. You replay every fight in your head, wondering if you were too much, too emotional, too sensitive. And while you're sitting there, losing sleep, losing yourself, he's sleeping like a baby, full off the power your pain keeps feeding him. You want the truth? Your pain is his proof that he still owns you. Every tear you cry over him, he sees it as a win. Every time you lash out in anger, he feels important again. Every time you break down, it confirms that you're still emotionally chained to him. He doesn't need to love you. He just needs to know that he can still ruin you. That's how these kinds of men measure their worth. Not by what they build, but by what they can break. He's not moved by your breakdowns. He doesn't feel guilt when you cry. If anything, he leans back and feels powerful because you're still reacting to him. You think ignoring him will get his attention, so you post something sad, something indirect, something dramatic. And the moment he views it, your heart races, because now he knows how you feel, right? Wrong. He's not viewing it because he misses you. He's watching it like a performance. Your breakdown is his show. He doesn't feel remorse. He feels control. Let me give it to you straight. He's not watching your pain because he cares. He's watching it because it proves he still matters. You don't believe me? Let me tell you about a woman I once coached. Let's call her Nina. She found out her boyfriend was cheating, not once, not twice, 5 times. One day she sat him down, heart shaking, voice trembling, and she begged him to tell her the truth. Not scream, not accuse, just begged him to help her understand why. And do you know what he did? He smirked. Let that sink in. The woman he loved was crying in front of him, asking why he betrayed her. And he smirked, because at that moment, he wasn't feeling guilt. He was soaking in the proof that he still had her wrapped around his finger. He knew she was shattered, and that meant he still had power. He doesn't want your love. He wants your energy, even if it comes through rage, pain, or confusion, especially pain, because pain is loud, pain is real, pain is proof that he's still under your skin. He's a thief, and not the kind that steals and runs. He's the kind that takes your heart, but what he's really after are the keys to your peace. He wants access to your emotions, your thoughts, your sanity, and you hand him the keys every time you pick up the phone, write another text, or give him one more chance to explain. Why, my love? Why are you still explaining yourself to someone who's already decided to hurt you? Why are you pleading with someone who already showed you, not once, but repeatedly, that he doesn't care how his actions make you feel? Read this next part carefully. You are not in love. You are in a cycle. A cycle where your pain is the currency and his ego is the king. He doesn't need to love you. He just needs you to keep breaking. Because the more you fall apart, the more powerful he feels. And here's the wild part. Every time you react, even in anger, you're giving him what he wants. The energy, the obsession, the spotlight. Your emotions are his audience, and he performs best when you're screaming from the front row. But it stops now. You don't win this by yelling louder. You don't heal by trying harder. You heal when you go silent, when you stop giving him reactions, when you stop letting your pain become his victory, when you stop bleeding for someone who laughs while watching you ache. Say it with me. I starve his ego. Write it in the comments right now. Let him feel the silence. Let the universe know your heart is no longer his playground. Let you believe that your emotions are yours again. Because in the next section, we're going deeper. We're going to talk about silence, not as a weakness, but as a weapon. And why the moment you go quiet, his mask starts to crack. Get ready. No more pain shows. No more begging, just silence. Number 3, he's panicking because you went quiet, not because he misses you. So, my dear, let's talk about what really happens when you go quiet. You think your silence is weak. You think you're being passive. You think it means you gave up. But no, silence is the one thing he cannot control. And that's exactly why he's panicking. You've been thinking he's missing you, that he's sitting there heartbroken, finally realizing how good you were, finally feeling the weight of what he lost. But I'm going to tell you something that might sting a little. He doesn't miss your love. He misses your reactions. He doesn't care that you were kind, that you were loyal, that you gave him chance after chance after chance. He only cares that the energy is gone. That supply he was feeding off of, it's dry now. And that silence, that's ego starvation. He's not pacing around because he's broken over you. He's pacing around because he lost his favorite drug, your attention, your anger, your crying, your over-explaining, your long texts, the long calls where you repeated yourself again and again, hoping he'd finally understand you. All of that fed him. And now, crickets. You ever seen a grown man spiral when the attention stops? I have. One of my clients blocked her ex after 3 years of chaos. The day she cut him off, she didn't send a goodbye message. No dramatic closure. No, I hope you change. She just vanished. Within 48 hours, 23 missed calls, 3 voicemails, 5 emails, 2 DMs from fake accounts. He even messaged her sister, not because he loved her, but because she was finally doing what he feared the most, reclaiming her power in silence. Let me say this as clearly as I can. He's not afraid of losing you. He's afraid of losing access to you, to your emotions, your reactions, your validation, your softness, your energy. You were the spotlight, and now he's standing in the dark, fumbling. Because men like him, they only know how to perform when they've got someone watching, someone reacting, someone crying, fighting, forgiving. That's the stage they rehearse on. And when the curtain drops, when the lights cut off, they crumble. Let me give you a metaphor to make it real. He's an actor, a performer, and you've been the audience clapping for every lie, every comeback, every fake apology. But when the seats are empty, when the applause is gone, when the stage is dark, he's just a man in costume talking to himself. He doesn't know who he is when you're no longer watching. That's why he stalks your page. That's why he sends you those just checking in texts. That's why he suddenly remembers your birthday. Not because he's had a change of heart, but because your silence is driving him insane. Silence is louder than a scream, and it terrifies the man who needs your pain to survive. He was never in love with you. He was in love with your reaction to him, The way you'd chase him after a fight, the way you'd fight to keep him, the way you'd show up even after he disappeared. That made him feel like a god. But now, you're not crying. You're not chasing. You're not fighting. And he doesn't know who he is without the chaos. So he panics, and he will panic more. You'll notice it. The sudden texts, the random likes on old pictures, the "hey stranger" messages that come out of nowhere. All of it is him throwing pebbles at your peace, hoping you'll open the door again. But don't. He's not sorry, he's starving. There's a difference. You going quiet isn't you losing. It's you finally winning. You're not losing a man. You're losing a parasite. You're cutting off a supply line. You're ending the show and walking off stage. Let him sit in the dark. Say it with me right now. My silence is power. Write it in the comments. Let him feel the silence from the inside out. Let the universe feel the shift. But more importantly, let you feel it, deep in your chest. Because in the next part, we're going to break the biggest illusion of all, the lie that he's changing just because he came back. The truth is darker, deeper, and more dangerous than you think. Stay quiet, stay strong, stay gone. Number 4, you're healing, but you're still leaving the door open. So, my dear, let's get brutally honest. You say you're healing, and maybe you are. You're journaling, reading all the right books, going to therapy, meditating, praying, lighting candles and playing soft music at night. You're trying, I see that. But let's not confuse effort with transformation. Because while you're doing all those things for your healing, you're still checking to see if he watched your story. You're still hoping he texts. You're still wondering what he's doing, who he's with, if he still thinks about you. And that, my love, is not healing. That's half healing. And half healing still means you're bleeding. You're not really letting go. You're just letting go with conditions. You're saying, I'm done. But your heart is still peeking through the cracks, looking for signs. You still feel that little jolt in your stomach when his name pops up. You still dress in a way that maybe, just maybe, he'll see it. You still replay conversations and wonder what you could have said better to make him stay. Let me hit you with the truth that might make you clench your jaw. Healing is not crying over him less. Healing is when you no longer care if he's watching. It's not about how loud your pain is. It's about how quiet your need for his validation becomes. You don't heal by looking over your shoulder, hoping he regrets losing you. You heal by walking away without needing him to watch you go. Because guess what? Every time you check if he's seen your story, every time you stalk his page just to see, every time you leave the door cracked open just a little, you're giving him emotional access. You're not just leaving the door open, you're locking it, but leaving the damn window wide open. And what do men like that do? They climb through windows. They don't knock. They don't ask for permission. They just come in, take what they want, and leave your peace in pieces. So stop calling it healing if he still has a key to your emotions. Stop calling it growth if you still hope he shows up. Stop calling it self-love if your love is still tied to his attention. You can't build peace while still checking to see if the man who destroyed you is watching your rebuild. That's not healing. That's obsession in disguise. You want motivation. You want a reason to stop. Let me give you one. Every second you spend wondering if he saw your story, he's not thinking about you, not in the way you hope. He's not moved. He's not broken. He's not secretly crying into his pillow. He's living. He's laughing. He's probably texting someone else while you're over here romanticizing pain like it's a movie. And I know that's harsh. I know it cuts. But baby, sometimes the truth has to burn before it sets you free. You think you're healing, but what you're really doing is stalling. You're doing just enough to survive, but not enough to rise. Because rising means you cut the cord completely. It means you block him without needing him to notice. It means you delete the photos without crying. It means you stop telling your friends about him. It means he stops existing in your emotional space. Say it out loud. I close the window. Now type it in the comments. Let him feel the silence. Let the universe feel your shift. Let you know, this time, it's real. Because in the next section, we're going to talk about the thing he fears the most. Not your anger, not your tears, not your goodbye, but the version of you who finally doesn't need him. The version of you he can't manipulate anymore. That version is waking up, and she's coming for everything she lost. So don't just heal, shut the damn window, and lock your peace. Number 5. He's afraid you'll become the woman he can't manipulate anymore. So, my dear, let's make something very clear. He's not scared of losing your love. He's scared of losing his grip on you. You think he's afraid because you finally left. You think he's having some grand awakening now that you've gone silent. No, he's not terrified because you're gone. He's terrified because you're getting stronger without him, because you're not chasing, because for the first time he can feel the shift in your energy, and he knows what's coming next. You becoming untouchable. He never feared your absence. He feared your glow-up, your healing, your evolution. He feared the version of you that doesn't wait around, that doesn't explain herself, that doesn't pick up when he calls at 2 a.m. with fake apologies. He feared the day you stopped needing to be chosen, and finally chose yourself. Let me tell you about a woman I worked with. We'll call her Eliza. She spent 4 years trying to make it work with a man who breadcrumbed her to hell and back. He ghosted her every few months, lied about everything, gaslit her into thinking she was the problem. Every time she tried to leave, he'd cry, apologize, say he was working on himself. So she stayed. Until one day, she didn't. She changed her number, deleted every photo, blocked him on every platform, got a new job in another city, and vanished. No warning, no final text, just silence. And you know what happened? 3 months later, she got a message from an unknown number. Hey, I've changed. Can we talk? Let me tell you what that message really means. It doesn't mean he changed. It means he noticed you changed. It means his control stopped working. It means you stopped dancing to his emotional chaos and he's panicking. Not because he finally understands your value, but because his ego is starving. He didn't miss Eliza. He missed the version of her that made him feel big while she felt small. He doesn't want you to glow up. He wants you to stay broken just enough to need him. That's the twisted truth. He doesn't fear a world without you. He fears a world where you no longer revolve around him, a world where he no longer gets to pull your strings, a world where your peace no longer includes him. So stop crying over a man who is scared of your strength. Stop shrinking yourself to keep someone comfortable in their weakness. Stop asking, does he miss me? And start asking, why the hell do I miss someone who only loved me when I was easy to control? You think you're being forgotten. No, you're being studied. He's watching your silence, watching your strength, watching you rise, and he's terrified. Because when you stop begging, you start becoming dangerous. Not because you want revenge, but because you're finally becoming unreachable. So say it out loud, right now. I choose my power. Write it in the comments. Let him feel it. Let the world see it. Let you believe it. Because in the next section, we're going to break down exactly how these men use your emotions like strings on a puppet. How every reaction you give, even in anger, is part of the control. And how silence, real silence, isn't just peace. It's your exit from the stage he used to perform on. No more being scared to rise. It's time he learns to fear your peace. Number 6. He's watching. Always. Don't give him a show. So, my dear, let's talk about this thing you keep doing. Posting little quotes, subtle selfies, curated stories, hoping he'll see them. You tell yourself you're over him, that you're just living your life, that it's nothing. But deep down, you're hoping he's watching. And he is. Trust me, he sees it. And he smiles. Not because he misses you, but because you're still performing for him. You're still feeding the part of him that feeds on your need for attention. You think you're showing strength by looking good online, by appearing unbothered. But here's the reality. You're still giving him a front row seat. And he's sitting there, watching, arms crossed, thinking, she's still mine. Because the more you try to show him you're over him, the more obvious it becomes that you're not. He's not ignoring your posts. He's studying them. He's watching your patterns, waiting for the right moment to jump back in. And every time you make something just a little too pointed, a little too emotional, a little too obvious, he knows. He knows you're still thinking about him, and that gives him power. You want motivation. Let me give it to you straight. True power is when you stop needing him to see anything. That's when the real healing begins, when the posts aren't about showing him anything, when the glow-up isn't for revenge, when the silence isn't a tactic, it's just peace. When his name doesn't cross your mind while you're taking that picture or writing that caption. When he becomes irrelevant to your story, that's freedom. But some of you are still playing games. You block him, then unblock. You post, then delete. You stalk his page and then post something dramatic, hoping he sees it and feels something. You're not fooling anyone, baby, least of all yourself. Let me tell you what's really going on. He's not your audience. He's the villain. Stop performing. Why are you still performing for the man who hurt you? For the man who gaslit you? For the man who made you question your worth, your sanity, your enoughness? Why are you still treating his attention like it's some kind of reward? That's not love, that's addiction. You're addicted to the idea of him seeing you and regretting it all. But let's be real, even if he regrets, even if he misses you, even if he watches every single post, so what? What does that change? Does it undo the lies? Does it erase the nights you cried yourself to sleep? Does it restore the years you spent shrinking for him? No, it changes nothing. Because what you really want isn't him seeing you. It's him finally valuing you. But baby, if he couldn't value you when you gave him everything, he won't value you now that you're holding up a mirror. He'll just use that mirror to admire his own reflection. So stop playing the game. Stop letting his attention be your motivation. You don't need his validation. You don't need his view count. You don't need his silent stalk. Let him watch nothing. Let him sit in the silence he created. Let him wonder what you're doing, who you've become, and why the performance suddenly stopped. Say it with me. I stopped performing. Write it in the comments. Let it echo into your soul. Let him feel the silence. Let the universe witness the shift from performer to queen. Because in the next section, we're about to hit the reset button. We're going to break the illusion that your voice, your body, your attention is his playground. We're going to talk about how silence is not just powerful. It's the one thing he never planned for. Stay still. Stay quiet. Let the curtain fall. Number 7. You think silence is weakness, but it's the strongest weapon you have. Words gave him control. Silence takes it back. Let's clear something up once and for all. Silence is not an absence of power. It's actually the most potent form of reclaiming control. You thought your words would make him understand, that your tears would change his heart, that your emotional investment would make him realize your worth. But the truth is, all your words, all your pleading, all your pain only fed his ego. It fueled his need to dominate. Every time you tried to explain, every time you fought to make him see, you gave him exactly what he wanted. You gave him your attention, your energy, your validation, all of which he thrived on. But here's the shift. Silence, on the other hand, is the most powerful thing you can give. It doesn't beg for recognition. It doesn't cry out for attention. It simply demands it, and it does so without saying a word. Silence is the ultimate reclaiming of your energy. It's your emotional shield, your weapon of protection, your way of saying, I will no longer allow you to dictate my feelings or my time. Now you might be thinking, but won't silence make me seem weak? Won't it make me appear passive, distant, as if I've given up? I get it. It feels that way, doesn't it? But in reality, silence is not weakness. It's a war strategy. It's how you win, not by fighting with words, but by taking away the one thing he's used to, your emotional investment, your energy, your attention. That's how you take back control, by choosing not to give him anything to feed off of. You've already given him everything. Now it's time to give yourself back to you. Think about this. When you stop reacting to a narcissist, when you stop giving him the validation he craves, he unravels. He panics. Every day without your responses, every moment of silence from you, he has to face the fact that he's no longer the center of your world. And that's terrifying for someone like him, because his entire sense of self-worth is built on your emotional reactions. His control over you, his power over you, is anchored in the way you let him affect you. And when you go silent, you shatter that control. You stop playing his game. You stop waiting for him to notice you, to validate you, to pull you back into his emotional web. And that's his worst nightmare. You becoming unreachable. You becoming impervious to his manipulation. You stop being a puppet on his strings, and that's when he loses. Just think about this for a second. What have all your words gotten you? What have all your tears done for you? What has all that emotional energy you poured into him accomplished? In the end, all it did was make you feel small, uncertain, and disrespected. You tried to explain your pain, you begged for understanding, but he never took the time to truly listen. He didn't care, he never cared, because he wasn't interested in understanding you. He was only interested in controlling you. Your vulnerability was his playground, and you let him keep playing. So let me tell you this. Stop wasting your precious energy trying to explain pain to someone who thrives off it. Stop explaining yourself to someone who is so emotionally dead inside. Your words mean nothing to him. He doesn't want to change. He doesn't want to hear your pain. He wants to feed off it, and you've been giving him just that for far too long. Now it's time to let him sit in the void you leave behind. Let him feel what it's like to be ignored. Let him feel what it's like to lose control over you. He'll panic, and while he's spiraling, you'll be healing. You'll be rediscovering your peace, your strength, and your sense of self-worth. Every moment of silence you give him is another moment you take back for yourself. Here's your power. Your silence is not a sign of defeat. It's a declaration of victory. It's the end of the game. And I want you to say this out loud. Silence is my weapon. Type it in the comments below. Let him feel it. Let the universe feel it. Let yourself feel it. This is your moment. This is where the power shifts. No more feeding his ego. No more explaining your worth. No more waiting for him to see what he lost. Let him wonder. Let him spiral. Let him chase. But you're done. You're silent. And in that silence, you've already won. Number 8. While you're becoming a queen, he's realizing he lost a kingdom. You thought he was the prize, but you were the home, the warmth, the soul. It's time for you to realize the truth. The woman you are becoming is not someone he deserves access to anymore. You've been rebuilding, reconstructing your life, and you've done the hardest part. You've started to let go. And now, he's the one who's regretting. But let me make this clear. He's not regretting because he loved you. He's regretting because he's realizing you were his supply. You were his constant source of attention, validation, and energy. The truth is, you gave him everything, your time, your heart, your soul. But don't make the mistake of giving him your future too. You've given him enough, and now it's time for you to invest in the woman you're becoming, not the man who never valued you. Here's the metaphor. You were his kingdom, and he chose to burn it. He tore apart everything that made you shine. Now, you're rebuilding something stronger, something he can never touch. You're building a castle not just for yourself, but for the woman who has learned her worth and refuses to let anyone break her again. This time, he doesn't have a place in it. And when you went silent, he panicked. He realized he could no longer control you, no longer feed off your energy. Let that panic be the last thing he ever feels. Let it be the last sound he hears from you. You've risen. You've rebuilt. And now, you stand strong, untouchable and free. In conclusion, your silence is not weakness, it's your greatest strength. You've reclaimed your power, rebuilt your peace, and become unstoppable. Now, it's your turn to rise. If this resonated with you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Let's spread the strength together. Keep shining.